Hey everyone, and welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 270, and we're recording this on April 24th, 2023. On this episode, we're going to be talking all about the Indie World Showcase and the recent Premium Edition Games Direct, as well as a few other Nintendo stories that's happened over the last couple weeks. My name is Steve, and of course, I am also joined by Barry. Hey Barry, how's it going?
Hey, Steve. Always a pleasure.
And also joined by Greg. How you doing, Greg?
Doing pretty good. Happy to be here.
Awesome. So if you guys have never joined us for the NintendoFuse Podcast, just thank you so much for joining us. If you are watching us live right now, we are streaming on YouTube and Twitch, and we love interacting with you guys in the live chat during the live recordings. So make sure you hop in there and let us know what you're thinking about all the different news stories that we talk about, all the things you've been playing. We'd love to know those things as well. If you watch after the fact, the video version, just throw those in the comments on YouTube. We'd love for you to just share all that stuff with us. We love hearing what you guys are playing, what you guys think about the stories as well. And if you've never joined us, we record live every other Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time and 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time. And again, like I said, it's on Twitch and on YouTube, and we love to interact with you guys throughout the show. If you've never joined us over on Twitter, we are over there at NintendoFuse, and we'd love for you guys to follow us there. And if you haven't joined our Discord yet, we have a growing Discord, and the link is on the screen if you're watching the video version, but also in the YouTube description and the podcast show notes. And we'd love for you to join over there as well. One of the things that we've been discussing over the last couple of weeks is when the Indie World Showcase went live. We had a dedicated thread, I guess, if you could call it, over there, and it was cool to just chat with everybody and during the event and afterwards and see everybody's thoughts and everything. So if you haven't joined our Discord, be sure to do that. But let's jump into what we've been playing before we jump into the news. So Barry, kick us off with what you've been playing.
So since the last podcast on the Switch, still doing Pokemon Unite, doing my daily stuff. Love the additions they keep adding to that game. They're keeping it alive very well. Also been doing some Theater Rhythm Final Bar line. They keep adding songs. They just added the Saga Pack a couple weeks ago that I didn't do, the Saga Pack 2. And in just I think a day or two is the second Nier pack. So really looking forward to that. Went through, just started farming some collector cards, and it's just a great pick up and play game. You only have 5-10 minutes. You could just work on a song or two and just have fun with it. I also played a game called Tray Racers. This is a free to play game on the Switch, or it has like a like supporters pack, which I did not do. This is a game where you play a little kid racing down hills on a lunch tray, and it is very weird. It feels very cheap. It does not really have a single player component. It's more like racing against others, or trying to like beat the time of others, like a time trial against other people online while you play solo, and it's not very good. So I understand why it's free. If you're curious about this, it doesn't hurt to give it a try and download it for yourself. But I can definitely see they had like great ambitions with this game. Like, this is gonna be the next online juggernaut like Fortnite, and I don't think it's going to be, but I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Tray Racers will take over the world, but I will probably not be booting it up anytime soon. And then I've been playing some Super Dungeon Maker. This is Zelda Maker. We'll be talking about this a little bit more later, but just having fun playing some fantastic dungeons created by some great people. Really intuitive and ingenious, and it's been like keeping me ready to go for Tears of the Kingdom, kind of like scratching that itch as I get ready for it. So I've been having a lot of fun with that. Last podcast on the PlayStation 5, I was playing Atelier Ryza 2. I was getting close to finishing it, but I didn't. This time I actually got to finish it, and I immediately jumped into 3. It's been a while since I've immediately jumped into another game, which is the game that actually made me want to play these games to begin with, and that just came out last month. And at first I was kind of like, this feels a little different. Just like the controls, you could tell it's definitely like was more made with the PS5 in mind. Like the second one was PS4 up, and then ported. This was definitely made with the PS5 in mind, and it's gorgeous. And once I got a feel for it, I was blown away, and I couldn't stop playing it. I had a little bit of shortcomings in two areas. One, like when you first start, you actually go back to the area of the first game, which was really cool to see it. Open world, there's no loading, there's no zones. It's just you could just go wherever you want, and the entire first game is there. The entire world of the first game. I was like, wow, okay, this is cool. And then you actually go to other maps just that size. I'm like, wow, this is like multiple size of the first game. And I was like, maybe we'll go to the second game's map because that took place in a different area and it's mentioned, but you never go. And I'm like, come on. And there's some characters from the second game that are mentioned, like party members that never show up. And I'm like, this is the final game of the trilogy. Come on, bring them back. But they didn't. But those are my minor shortcomings. This is a great game. Definitely streamlined the alchemy even more for this game. All the hiccups of the first game are gone. So if you're interested in a great JRPG, an open world JRPG with a fun story, great characters, and if you enjoy crafting, definitely check it out. If you like all those things but crafting as much, maybe watch a recap of the first game and then start with the second. But if you can play through the first, even though it's a little more archaic, you will get more appreciation out of the third game for
Hmm.
sure, because you'll see a lot of familiar locales and stuff like that, and it's definitely aged. All the characters have aged like 5 years. Great game though. And then on PC, still doing Final Fantasy 14, and mobile still doing Mario Kart Tour.
Nice. Going to the chat room real quick, and it looks like Jakester's been playing Pikmin 3, Lego DC Supervillains, and tried out Graviter. He also did a gameplay video for our YouTube channel, so if you haven't checked that out yet, hop over to our YouTube channel after you listen or watch this podcast, and you can check out Jakester's gameplay of Graviter. And he also started Ratchet and Clank Marathon and almost finished with the first game already and watched the Mario movie. I was tempted to go for a third time this last week, but I didn't. But I was tempted several times. Logan also chimed in and says been playing Grim Dawn on PC, and that's pretty much all for him. Was planning on Breath of the Wild, but just got busy. Yeah, I've been thinking about going back to the Breath of the Wild a little bit before Tears of the Kingdom comes out too. But yeah, there's so many like new games that I've been playing, and life gets busy, and all these different things, and yeah, Breath of the Wild is one of those games that I don't feel like I can just sit down for like 30 minutes and just hop around. Like I need to
Yeah.
dedicate some time to it. So, and that's pretty much all I have recently is just small chunks of time here and there. But I have thought about it several times as well. And I really, with that in mind, I have no idea how I'm going to actually be playing through Tears of the Kingdom at a normal pace at all. But I've got it. I got it. I did go ahead and pre-order it the other day. So it's coming. We'll just see if I can actually play it when it comes in, and like shut everything off in my life for a while.
The day after Tears of the Kingdom comes out, we're having a baby queue, which is instead of like a baby shower, it's just
Yeah.
everybody can come over. We're grilling and stuff. And when I'm like, wait, what day is the baby queue? It's like, oh, it's the 13th. Oh, Zelda comes out the 12th. So have fun. And my wife looked at me with that look, like, no, have fun. Say hi to everybody. I'll be in here playing. And she just gave me a look, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get away with this.
Probably not. Probably not. Yeah. Greg, what games have you been playing recently?
Unfortunately, it's a shorter and like a pretty short list this time around. I didn't really have a whole lot of time on the Switch and whatever, and just been busy with other things going on. I did continue a little bit more with Oregon Trail. I made it to the second leg of the adventure, and that's still been pretty fun. I really love how you can actually just like pop in and go and continue. Like you don't have to do it all in one cycle like the original game. So just definitely appreciating the save feature. And I know that could be more Steve's pace for when he only has like a 10 minutes here or there. So um, yeah, I sort of, I guess you could say, I played a little bit of like Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey just a little bit. My girlfriend had gotten those somewhat recently, and I was helping out here and there. Breath of the Wild might not be like her cup of tea. It's probably a little bit harder than she was expecting. I think she was like determined to take down every monster that she was coming across, and was like, I keep dying. And I'm like, well, there's strategies where you can like run, and like you don't have to fight everything you come across. Like, and I heard like, what the heck was that? And I'm like, I think she met fate with one of the like standing guardians or whatever, like the ones that don't move around, like just fires the laser beam when you don't expect it. So I did kind of briefly play both of those, but it was like more like less than like 10 minutes each, and I didn't really think it was super noteworthy. But still moving on with Faye, they had like a awesome Steve's favorite, the Faye direct or whatever.
You said they did
Channel
change
update,
the voice, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's not my favorite anymore then.
I know. I still like to bring it up for old time's sake, just because like I know that's turned you away from playing
Yeah.
such an awesome mobile game. So
Well, I mean, it also has to do with the game that I've never even touched or thought about touching either. So there was like the only reasons I was watching it was to maybe do an article on it, and I've just given up altogether.
yeah, those Fate channels are still very interesting. There's brand new mode that they're adding where you can like kind of, it's like a almost like a time travel mode where you get to pick your own path to like go down, and then like the health of all the heroes kind of maintains across through all the different like paths that you take, and then you can rewind time if you want to try to either take a different route or pick up different skills that you can unlock along the way. So it's sounds pretty exciting, and that will be beginning in mid-May. So definitely looking forward to that. And then just still playing some Roblox with Bell, and then even I'm sure a lot of people might see if me on Discord, if it says I'm playing it, I have like a macro that's kind of just going on my computer and pretty much playing one of the games for me. So like it's just to kind of make progress while I sleep and do other things, and not necessarily playing it for like 24 hours straight.
Nice. I'm guessing that's okay for a game like that. Like I know other people get banned for stuff like that, but I guess Roblox, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, who knows?
So far, so good.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the way this that one is kind of set up. It's kind of smart because it's like using like like a program called Auto Hotkey, and since like that's like so it's like essentially keeping the computer alive. You're not just like leaving it like doing anything, but since like the computer has like its known controls for moving the characters around and stuff, it's able to utilize like how long you press like whatever A4 to move them left or whatever S down, whatever, and they got it all figured out.
It's like when Barry used his controller just to hit A all the time in Animal Crossing.
Yeah. It reminds me of the days of playing like Final Fantasy 11, where it would just be like I'm going to bed and you'd start running like a script macro to like level your summoning magic or whatever and just go to sleep. And if anyone found you, you were just standing out there summoning all night long. And you wake up and like, oh, cool, I've gained some levels. Now I can continue playing.
Nice.
Yeah, and I mean, this has been around for years. I mean, people did it with Melee. That's how people unlocked like Mewtwo and stuff, because you just leave you turn on like the 99 stock and just let the computer destroy itself.
I did that with Smash 4 with 8-player amiibo with all 8-player battles with all amiibo. I just let them go overnight with 99 stock, and I'd come in the morning and I'd have a whole bunch of trophies and stuff.
Yep. I was about to say that too. Yep.
Great minds.
Yeah, as soon as I think I can't remember if it was in our Discord or someone said something along the lines. I was like, "That's brilliant," and I'm doing it. Ain't nobody got time for that stuff anymore.
Yeah, just do it while you sleep.
Yeah, that's right. It was fun when I was younger and had all the time in the world to game, but not anymore.
Just nice. The button. Just hit me. Let me just push a button and have it done for me. Instant gratification.
Yeah. Well, I had a few different games that I played this week. Of course, Rocket League and Clash Royale, but played Shadows of Loathing, which we are going to talk about, all three of us, at some point in the near future. I'm going to give our further thoughts. I did not play the first game. You two did, right?
Yes. West of Loathing we played. Okay. We loved it.
So I remembered seeing West of Loathing advertised when it came out and all that stuff, and thought that looks interesting. And then we got review codes for Shadows of Loathing, and I was like, cool, like this one I'll actually be able to play. And I was telling Greg before we started recording as well, like I had a little extra time, and so I sat down for about what I thought was going to be like a 20-minute game session just to get enough under my belt so I could know what to talk about. Turned into over an hour, and I really didn't want to put it down, but we had a podcast to record, and so I had to get up, and it's fun. I'm enjoying it a lot, and what I didn't realize, I think I probably knew this from when I saw West of Loathing and I heard you guys talk about it and everything, but it'd been so long that I've forgotten that it's kind of like a D&D kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like where this story is going on and you're interacting with different stuff. And I had no idea what to expect with that. And so all of a sudden it starts to unfold and I'm like, this is awesome.
It's going to make you want to get the first game now.
I know. Yeah. And I love the entire thing is basically like the type of graphics that I can draw. So that's cool. Like stick figures are my thing. So that's great. So I named my character Steve, and we are off to, save the world from ghosts or ghouls or whatever is coming our way. I'm still trying to figure out what in the world is going on. But it's been pretty fun so far.
That game would have been on my list too, because I was planning on doing it after Ryza, but Nintendo kind of made a little announcement of something coming out tomorrow. So I'm like, no, I know what kind of game this is. There's going to be another thing that I have to do first.
So I played that, and then also I picked up months ago Untitled Goose Game, but my wife and I finally started it up. I think it was Friday, if I'm not mistaken, Friday or Saturday, and played it for a few hours, 2-player. And I think we like almost got to the end of it, but we were kind of getting tired and put it down. Everything I saw said that it auto saves, but then when I stopped it, it said start again. So I don't know what happened. I may have to start from the beginning this next time. I don't know if there was a glitch in it or what, but I thought it was going to be auto saving after every time you like complete something. But it doesn't look like that when I didn't actually, but the startup screen looked exactly like it did when I first started the game. So I don't really know if there's supposed to be a continue or not, but there wasn't one when I did it. But anyhow, apart from that, we had fun. We had a blast, and it was fun just to kind of annoy the different people honking at them and stealing their stuff and just having a blast and trying to figure out. There's sometimes we got stuck. I was like, what in the world? Like I locked myself. We both locked ourselves out of the farmer's the fence in the beginning because I took his keys and I tossed them in the bushes, and then I forgot that I did that, and then he left the fence and I closed the door. I was like, oh no, we have to do things inside the fence. And so I had to actually look it up online and figure out how to get back in through the fence, and there is a way, but I was trying to like glitch over it because that's what I saw first, and then finally I was like, I can't do that. And then there's another way in. But yeah, it was pretty fun to play Untitled Goose Game. I hadn't ever tried it, but even though I had it for a few months, so we had a lot of fun playing the 2-player. I think one thing that I didn't like about it is with the 2-player, you can only go so far away from each other, and that does cause some problems sometimes. Like there's one part where you get like put in a box and carried away, and I got carried away like considerably far from her, and then neither of us could really move for a while. It was really tough. Going back to, I don't know, like for Shadows of Loathing, something also when I was on my mind of like things that I didn't really like. I don't know if this is the case for West of Loathing or not, but I feel like the sensitivity of when you're close to doors is too strong. Like I just walk by a door and all of a sudden I go through it. I'm like, I didn't want to go through that door and have to go back. Now, luckily the load times are like instant, so it's not that big of a deal. But it would be nice to like, I think it's a little too sensitive. So when I just walked by a door, it it threw me through the door. Like I actually wanted to go through it. So minor thing, nitpick in the whole thing, but I'm having fun with both of them. Jixter said no split screen. I think he's talking about Untitled Goose Game. No, there was no split screen in the Untitled Goose Game for 2 players. It was just you're all on the same screen, and you can only go so far away from each other.
Yeah, I was just about to respond to that right before you jumped into his comment. Basically, I know when they were developing the multiplayer, they made it like they specifically designed it that way, so it's like they always have like both players on the screen at the same time. I don't know if that was just their design choice to do it that way, but I guess because it makes sense if you're trying to interact with one of the characters or whatever, and then like you can't really. It's kind of hard to keep track of 2 like geese on this if like one's like in a completely different area and one's like playing with the farmer still kind of thing. So I mean, I kind of get it, but it also makes it kind of sucky because there is that one part that like you were just describing, I think in the 3rd section, where like you get transported with like a box to the back of the restaurant area, and it's almost like you both have to go in the box at the same time kind of thing.
Yep. Yeah. But and I think Jakester knows, like from the Lego games, a lot of times you do play on the same screen if you're close, but then if you veer away from each other, it does go into a split screen, which is nice. And I think that's probably that's what I was thinking when I read that. It was like, that would have been nice if they did something like that. But I think this game was probably definitely made with single player in mind first, and I think they attached the 2-player onto it later. So I think they just accommodated the best they could.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did, because it was initially single player, because I had played through the entire thing single player, and then it magically got an update and was like, oh, we've added multiplayer. Like, oh, great.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all for what we've been playing. Like I said, we're going to be recording eventually a game chat all about Shadows of Loathing and give you guys our thoughts around that. And then also make sure you do check out our YouTube channel for Jakester's Time with Graviter is on our channel right now. But let's jump into the news and get some discussion around 2 different events that happened. We're going to first jump over to the Indie World Showcase that happened on April 19th of this year. And so this recent event showed us off, I think, 18 different games and 3 different updates for those games. And so if you have not checked out the entire list or missed the event altogether, we have that over at NintendoFuse.com. You can check out the entire article we have there with all of the information. But we're going to go through the different games that were announced, different DLC and updates that were announced, and kind of give our thoughts through all of that. So the first 5, let's take the first 5. We heard about Maniko's Night Market, which comes out on September 26th. My Time at Sandrock comes out this summer. Plate Up comes out in October. Quilts and Cats of Calico comes out sometime in this fall of 2023. And Rift of the Necro Dancer comes out sometime in 2023. So, Barry, what do you think about these first 5?
These ones, the biggest one here was Rift of the Necrodancer, which when that came on, I'm like, hey, this kind of feels like Cadence of Hyrule and Crypt of the Necrodancer, and sure enough, it is in a spinoff in that regard. So that one caught my eye as a possible game to check out because it does look interesting. Played Up just kind of looked like almost an Overcooked, and I was never really a fan of that. So I'm sure it's great for those that like that. I never played My Time at Portia. I have it, but I never played it. So My Time at Sandrock didn't do anything for me. But yeah, and Quilts and Cats of Calico and Mineko's Night Market just didn't do much for me at all.
Yeah. Greg, how about you?
Yeah, I was pretty much on the same page. For me personally, pretty much all 5 of these were like easily more pass type games for me, but definitely happy for those that do look forward to those kinds of like gameplay and like situations and stuff. So like I could definitely see some value from like the quilts and cats and stuff if you were really into that kind of stuff. But again, for me personally, that's not my type of game. But be sure to check out some of these games because they're definitely made by some small studios and a small number of people, and they're definitely can be fun if those like kind of fit like your play style.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think same with you guys. I'm not a huge like none of these really jumped out to me. I'm like, man, I gotta play that game. Played Up did look fun. I think if you're a fan of, it just what was Order Up? Is that what the game is?
Overcooked.
Overcooked. I think there is another game called Order Up that's
There
very
is, yeah,
similar as
there
well.
is.
Yeah, so like, yeah, that's if you like those kind of games, it is probably exciting, but you may already have some. Jakester looks like he's played Plate Up already. I'm guessing it was probably out on Steam or another console already. Yeah, that's the first 5 that got announced. We'll keep on moving to the next 5. We got a little to the left, Cupboards and Drawers. DLC comes out in June. And then we got Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon Puzzlers Pack DLC comes out sometime this spring. And then we got Cult of the Lamb Relics of the Old Faith update comes out on April 24th. That's today. And then we have Animal Well, a new game that they're releasing sometime in early 2024, and a game called Crime O'Clock that is going to be coming out on June 30th of this year. So, Barry, what'd you think of this set?
Crime O'Clock was definitely the most interesting one for me. I love, time travel and puzzle games and stuff that if it's used well, and like where you can do something in one time and it affects another. I like that. So I'm intrigued. It's not a must play for me, but I'm intrigued about it and I want to see more. Little to the left, just it kind of gave me anxiety because it's like
Yes.
already. So I don't need DLC, but I'm glad. Like it looks like a cute game. It's just not for me. Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon looks cool, but I've never played it and no time to. I've heard great things of Cult of the Lamb. Have not played it, but I've heard great things. So absolutely, I know there's people that super excited about DLC. Awesome. And Animal Well looks interesting. It didn't I was expecting, I think, a little more from Donkey's first game, and I was like, "Oh, here he is. He's finally showing off his, first game that he's publishing." And I mean, it looks interesting, and I'm sure the developer is really passionate about it, but it didn't do anything for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Barry, I pretty much all what you said, ditto. Like everything I was thinking, I was like, man, Barry and I are on the exact same page with this one. Greg, you also on the same page with us?
Pretty much so. I mean, the Animal Well like was one of the ones that like it certainly is one of the like ones I'll be looking more into as more information and other trailers come out. It did seem like it had a somewhat interesting premise, and I also thought it was very odd the way they had the introduction for like that particular piece. Like
Yeah.
they were just like standing on like along like a riverbank or whatever, and like he had like that huge intro, and then the other like the developer was just like straightforward, just blah blah blah. Like I'm a developer for this game, and like so even that was like all really very weird and interesting in its own way. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, Crime O'Clock was definitely another one that I was looking forward to. I was a pretty big fan of like the Radiant Historia, and that's like another game that does time travel very well. So it kind of sounds like it's along those lines, except it doesn't really have like a lot of the RPG elements, but it's still fine because I still like puzzle games though. So that does seem like it should be a pretty good time there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other ones I didn't really think too much of, and pretty much were kind of lumped in with the first like 5 that we've already talked about. Just great for those people that like those kinds of games and things, but those weren't for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely Crime O'Clock was the one that stood out to me for sure. I love like those kind of puzzle games, kind of a detective kind of style, but when you involve time travel and stuff like that, it just gets especially if it's done really well, it can be a really fun experience. If it's done badly, then you're going to have a horrible time, but as long as it's done well. But I think the biggest surprise to me was the Little to the Left DLC. I really did not expect too many people to be liking this game, but I'm guessing it's enough for them to say, hey, we want to bring out DLC. Unless that was in the works already and they were always going to do that. I don't know. But if a lot of people have been getting this game and that warrants DLC, then more power to them. But yeah, like you, Barry, I don't want to be doing this in a game. I'd rather just clean my own cupboards and drawers.
And you know what
And
the kicker is? It's
yeah,
probably a lot of fun once you get into it, but I just haven't picked it up.
probably. But honestly, if my wife caught me playing this game, she'd be like, "What are you doing? Go clean the real ones and
Yes,
sort the real ones. Like
exactly.
stop taking care of the fake ones." Yeah.
That drawer is filled with junk. Throw some stuff
Exactly.
out.
Exactly. Her birthday was yesterday, and I was looking through our junk drawer to find the birthday candles. And as I'm pulling everything out, I was like, "Man, I really should probably clean this drawer sometime." I found the birthday candles and I shoved it all back in there.
As you should.
Exactly.
That's the purpose of it.
It's a
The
junk drawer for a reason.
If it was empty, it would be the empty drawer.
That's right. Well, moving on, we also have a big surprise for me. I was not expecting to see this, but Tesla Grad 2 was announced, and also Tesla Grad Remastered. So Tesla Grad and Tesla Grad Remastered are both coming this year or actually came that day on April 19th. So that was another big surprise for them dropping right away. Also, Shatters Over Loathing, which we talked about earlier, the digital edition dropped that day on April 19th, but the physical is coming later this fall. And then we got Blasphemous 2 that's coming sometime in 2023, and Oxenfree 2, Lost Signals, that is going to be dropping on July 12th of this year. So, Barry, what'd you think of these set of games?
This is when the indie world really started to ramp up.
Yeah.
Of course, Shadows Over Loathing. Super excited because played West of Loathing and loved it. We actually did an industry talk with the developers of West of Loathing that you can actually go back and see on our channel. Great guys, great sense of humor. So when I saw this, I was so excited, and of course, reached out and was able to get us some codes to play. So we'll be reviewing that, and I'm like, yeah, this is one you definitely want to check out. Blasphemous 2, I've heard so many people talk about Blasphemous. It's a great Metroidvania. I have it, but I have never played it. It looks up my alley. It's just this. There's like no time right now for me to fit this in. It's gonna obviously, if I play it, when I play it, eventually it's gonna be post baby, because it's just this front of the year is just too stacked. But happy to see a sequel. Really, really good to see that. So I am excited about it. I'm just waiting. Testergrad, another game I have. I think I have it in like 4 or 5 systems. I've never played it. Really happy for those that love it, especially getting a remastered and then the sequel all in one. And again, Oxenfree, another game I have, multiple systems, never played it. But happy to see it. Looks interesting. Oxenfree 2, it looks interesting. And of course, you mentioned Shadows Over Loathing is getting the physical. That's actually coming from Serenity Forge. And when I saw that, I actually contacted I have a good friend that works at Serenity Forge. And I just sent him like, congratulations on getting that. Like, that is such a good game. And we talked about like the stuff in the collector's edition, but really good people over there. So definitely give them some support.
Cool. Greg, what'd you think?
Yeah, just pretty much right on agree with Barry. This is like when like it was pretty much like all the, in my opinion, like some of the best stuff was being shown. So like Tesla Grad I did have, I think on Wii U, or I think that's where it was at.
It was on Wii U.
I didn't get super far into it, but it was kind of fun from what I did play, and it does seem pretty cool that they already have a sequel release. I don't know if I'll end up getting them this time around because there's already way too many games on my backlog list, and it was also like a little bit higher of a difficulty level than I'm used to. So it's still really cool to see that that's coming out like on the Switch and everything. The Shadows Over Loathing is probably my biggest highlight of the entire indie showcase, and very excited to be jumping in to be able to play it very soon. I just watched the showcase earlier today, so didn't quite realize we already had codes, and definitely excited to be starting to play that as soon as possible. The Last of Us 2, I didn't really do a whole lot for me. I didn't really play the first one, but some of the hack and slash ones is not always like my style for like Metroidvania, but I don't know. It might be still worth something down the line if I see like a sale on it or whatever, but probably nothing in the immediate future. And the Oxenfree one also looked like a lot of fun as well. I have that one marked to check out later as well. So like this was like the pretty much the meat of the showcase and the part that I definitely enjoyed best.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys as well. It definitely, up until this point, I was kind of like, I'm glad these games are coming out. I'm glad that, whatever. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh, Teslagrad, oh, Shadows Overloading, oh, Blasphemous, oh, okay, now we're hitting it. And yeah, I think Shadows Overloading is definitely the one I've already been playing, and so you've heard me talk about that. But yeah, I kind of like Tesla Grad 2 popped up on the screen. I was like, oh, I forgot about that game, and I forgot that it's really good, and I liked it, but I kind of forgot about it. So that was cool to see that. I don't know if I'll be getting the remastered one. I can't remember what system I have it on, but Tesla Grad 2 might be something I eventually pick up. Like you guys, like, there's only so much time, so much money, all those different things, and so yeah, I'm not sure if I'll be getting any of the rest of these. Blasphemous, for some reason I had overlooked Blasphemous. I had not heard of the first one, and so to hear the second one, I was like, oh, that looks really interesting as well. So all of these games definitely grab my attention for sure, and there'll be games that if I have the time and money, I'll be interested in them, or if companies want to send us review codes like they did for Shadows Overloading, I will definitely check them out for sure. But yeah, this was definitely the meat of it. Like you said, Greg, really enjoyed this section for sure. Let's move on to the last section. We got Paper Trial that's coming out in August of this year. Little Kitty Big City, that is coming out in sometime in 2024. Chance of Sonar coming out on September 5th of this year. Brotato sometime in 2023. Escape Academy, the complete edition in fall of 2023. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach came out that day on April 19th. And Bomb Rush Cyberfunk came out is coming out on August 18th of this year. So Barry, what'd you think of this last run of games, including that sizzle reel near the end?
Well, you were right. It is Paper Trail.
Is it? I wrote it wrong.
Unless you wrote it wrong. I'm reading what you wrote.
I wrote it wrong. Yeah.
Oh, so it is Trial. Okay.
Nope. Sorry. Oh. What you're seeing on the screen is the press release. What I'm reading from in front of me was my list that I wrote in our Discord.
It says Trail.
Yep.
So yeah, Paper Trail looked interesting. I like when developers use kind of like commonplace things and change it around. Like Tearaway did that with the paper, and of course Yoshi's Crafted World. Of the rest of this, I know a lot of this was the sizzle reel. Escape Academy, the complete edition, kind of looked interesting. Escape room puzzles can be really fun if done right. So as long as they're good. And the big one for me of this whole thing was Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, and that's because I really enjoy the Jet Set Radio series, the first one on the Dreamcast, and then of course Jet Set Radio Future on the Xbox. And this is like a spiritual successor because Sega seems to have dropped that series like a hot rock. So if this is done right, this could be a lot of fun. So I'm really interested to see how they do it and how they pull it off. The rest of the stuff, it didn't catch me. Like I'm sure they're gonna be great games. It's just none of them said like, oh, you absolutely have to play this right away.
Yeah. Greg?
Yeah, I was pretty much on par with that, and I think it's actually the entire sizzle reel here that all of these games was, because I just had the video open just like a little bit ago just to confirm it. But yeah, like starting with Paper trials, then it's like that was like the very start of the sizzle reel. So, yeah, for me personally, these didn't do much for anything, but just happy for those that like these like types of games and stuff. I know like Five Nights at Freddy's have been out on other platforms for very very long time, and they even covered it quite extensively on Game Theory and stuff. They turned it into a meme and everything that they were just a Five Nights channel. But it, yeah, I'm pretty much. Well, these are more like pass for me personally, unless I see some other trailers where they happen to might sell it to me. But for the most part, it was just kind of like a slower cool down for the very finale of the showcase.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys as well. And yeah, I think some of these are enough for me to pay attention to. I want to know more about this. I want to see more, but none of them are like, man, I got to get this game for sure. And some of them are I wouldn't say copies, but they're inspired by or whatever of other games that are out that I know are better or proven. And so at this point, like I need to know more to know if I want to go out after those. Unfortunately, like Brotato looked cool, but then as soon as they said it was a roguelike, I was like, nope, never mind. I've written those off at this point. So yeah, top-down shooter sounds awesome until you told me it was a roguelike. So I think, yeah, like you said, Barry, like escape room kind of stuff. The fact that it can be played locally and online could be really cool, but it's just going to be one of those. I need to see it tested out and make sure that that's actually going to work well before I spend
Maybe
my money on it.
maybe we can get review codes and the three of us could do like an online
That'd be
escape room.
fun.
That would be fun.
That'd be really fun.
Yeah.
So if it works out like that, that'd be really fun for sure. So before we move on, Barry, just overall thoughts about the Indie World Showcase. What'd you think of this particular one? Did they do well? What would you say?
Yeah, I'd say this is a step up from I think the last few that they've done. They really had some heavy hitters in there, and I know people have been dying for Silk Song, and I was just waiting. Like if they're doing like Blasphemous 2 and everything, like they're gonna do a one more thing after this sizzle reel, and it's gonna be Silk Song, and the internet's gonna lose their mind. Even though I couldn't get into Hollow Knight, I know that there's a ton of people that love it and that can't wait for that game. And after this sizzle reel, like, and that's it. I'm like, wait, what? Like you had this slow build up to a really fantastic center to a sizzle reel to calm down, and then you just failed the landing. Like no one more thing. Like that was your before we go, let's leave you with one more. Like that was it. You set it up perfectly and you just didn't have anything. It's the Nintendo Land fireworks all over again. So yeah, that was one of those. I mean, I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10 in terms, maybe even an 8.5 out of 10, just in terms of game range. But in terms of presentation, 7.5 because I felt they should have had that one more thing. Even if they took one of the inner games like Oxenfree 2 or Blasphemous 2 or Teslagrad 2 and put that as a one more thing, I think the whole thing would have flowed a little bit better.
Yeah. Yep. It did kind of just end. We're like,
Just
oh,
ended.
wait, is that sure? Maybe there's an after credit scene. Yeah. Greg, what'd you think overall?
Yeah, I don't know if like the indie showcases have done like that, like one more thing before, or if it's okay. Yeah, I mean, it did seem to kind of end on a quiet note, as Barry was saying, but like it really could have been cool just to even have like somewhat of a teaser, like if they could finally like say like when Silk Song is like an estimate range or something, or even pretty much a lot of those other games that we've just like talked about, just having like the Tesla grad or something like at the very end. Like it seems like it at least had at least a little bit better of like an ending of it anyways, because I think that one kind of works the best because they remastered the original one, so it's kind of like that'd be a perfect for like, oh, and one more thing, like you like the see where the series got started, here's the first one and we updated it.
Yep.
And like that would have easily been a better way to end the show, but I'm not the show writer for that, so
Yep. Yeah, I think I agree with you guys as well. I think it started out slow, and I was worried in the beginning. Like I mean, it was great that they were showing off those games, but there really wasn't much for me. And then all of a sudden they hit their stride, and then sizzle reel end. I was like, okay, then. Um, so I don't know. I think I if we're talking about out of 10, I feel like maybe giving an 8.5 is a little generous in my opinion. Barry, I would say maybe I'd say around a 7, a solid 7. I think they could have punched it up. I feel like they do have information. I think it'd be different if we didn't know things like you said, like Silk Song and other games like that are in the works that they could have brought up. That would have kind of sealed the deal and kind of wrapped it up with a nice punch at the end. Could have pushed it up there higher for me, but it wasn't bad. I think some people were like, "Oh, wow, that was really lackluster." I think it was definitely not lackluster, but they could have done more with it. But I think this was just a quick. To me, it ended up being one of those, "Hey, we want to make sure that you guys know about these games, and we're going to move on." And I think they did okay with it, but it could have been better, especially if they included some of those other things that we do want to know. Hey, when is this game going to come out? Is it going to come out this year? What's the progress on it? But yeah.
Yeah, I definitely do agree. Like a 7 sounds like it's much like what I would probably give it as well, because it's while there were a lot of games and everything like that, it just for me personally, like it didn't have like a quite a huge range as some of the other ones of the past, and like I really think like Shadows of Loathing is really what even helped make it a 7 for me in general, because it was like a continuation of something I definitely have played and really thoroughly enjoyed. So
Yeah. Yep. Looks like there's some chat about Jet Set Radio in the chat room. So at the very least, we've turned people on to some old games. So
Absolutely.
yeah, keep it classic.
that's right. That's right. Well, let's move on to our next event that we're going to be talking about tonight, and one that hits home for especially 2/3 of our podcast hosts with Premium Edition games. So, Barry, how about you explain what did Premium Edition show off in their Spring Direct?
Sure. So we launched our Spring Direct 2 weeks ago now, and this was a real triumph to even come out. Our usual video editor is having a baby as well, or his wife is having a baby, and wasn't able to actually do it. So props to one of our designers, Tristan, who stepped up to the plate and did the video editing for this. Fantastic job he did. So we announced our 6 series of titles. We have 2 Switch games coming out. One that we did a game chat for, which was Wife Quest, which was a real surprise for us when we played the game. I think Greg and I did that one, and we both absolutely fell in love with the game. Raving reviews. Such a fun action platformer. Comedic deaths, challenging bosses, just a load of fun. And if you've never played it, this is just it's so much. I can't explain it. I played 2 levels, I think, and I called up East Asia Soft and I was like, we want to do this game physically. And I was geeking out about it. Just it took me away. It was like Trigger Witch. Trigger Witch from East Asia Stuff did the same thing to me. It had that same like I'm not going into this game with any expectations. Probably not gonna like it. Oh my god, I love it. And the same with Wife Quest. I went into this like this is not. I think Greg showed more excitement for this when they showed it off than I did. And I was like, Greg's gonna get a code. I'll just claim a code to do a game chat with him. And turns out now we're playing out physically. So it definitely give it a shot if you like action platformers with RPG elements. Mega Man style bosses where you gain powers when you beat the bosses. Just a lot of fun. The second game that we announced was one that I already alluded to earlier today, and that's Super Dungeon Maker, which is available for pre-order now. Wife Quest goes up a week from today, next Monday, but Super Dungeon Maker is available for pre-order right now. This is Zelda Maker. This is the Zelda Maker we all wanted Nintendo to make after Super Mario Maker that they refused to make. So Fire Chick set out to do it for them. And this game is incredible. So, like Super Mario Maker, you can make your own dungeons, you can play other people's dungeons, you could rate them, you could download those dungeons. There are pre-made dungeons for you to explore from the developers, and the creation tool is so intuitive that anyone can do it, but it's so in depth that the possibilities are almost endless. You could place triggers where enemies will spawn when you walk into a room. You could put triggers like where a chest spawns when you kill all the enemies. You could have doors open when you kill all the enemies. You could have, or when you push a block. You could have keys. You could have boss keys. You could do those sliding puzzles, the sliding brick puzzles that are in every Zelda game. You can make the ground ice. You can make it, regular. You could do 7-floor dungeons, up to 7 floors, which is insane for how big. And these floors are huge. And unlike Link's Awakening, where every room is a square, these rooms you draw. So you place however size you want. You make a diamond, you make a square, you make a triangle, you can make a U, a T. It doesn't matter. So you could really customize your own dungeons and then put it out to the world to explore and have fun with. Uh, it's infinite. And to me, the fact that Nintendo said, okay, we'll allow this to come out into the Switch tells me they have no plans for a Zelda Maker anytime soon, because otherwise it would be like, well, this is too close to what we're already doing. And yeah, it just is something where if you love 2D Zeldas, especially Link to the Past and Minish Cap, you will be doing yourself a disservice if you don't play this, because it's so much to do. Even if you're not a creative person, even if all the creation tools in the world don't matter to you, the fact that you can play other people's dungeons and have infinite Zelda is amazing. Like Mario Maker, the quality of said dungeons is always varying on the creator, but you could have a dungeon that's 5 minutes. You could have a dungeon that takes you over an hour, and just have a lot of fun. The weapons you get are all determined by the creator. You get like the bombs, the roc's feather style thing. The hook shot is there, the shield. You can have a lot of fun with that. We also announced a brand new NES game coming in 3 weeks from now, and that is Bobby 67. This is going to be a platforming title, 2D platforming title where you play. We talked about time travel before. You are time traveling. You are going through 7 different eras, trying to stop the evil half man, half fish from changing all the traffic lights to green. That's his devilish evil deed that he's doing, and you've got to go and stop him. There's a comedic adventure. You got to try to keep your job while doing it. And of course, this is a legit NES game. This is an aftermarket. This plays right on your NES, your Gray Toaster. So absolutely, pick this up. These are going to be limited, but we're happy to be able to bring this out physically. It comes CIB with the manual and everything like that, and even a challenge card for a patch. And then, of course, we're part of a Kickstarter, which is going on right now. That's Poglings from the YouTuber Chad Tronic. This is over 700% funded at this point. It's doing extremely well. This is if Sega never abandoned the Chow Gardens from Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 and continued it on, meets Animal Crossing and a little Zelda. And that's what you get with this. So we are doing the physical, and there's going to be a Kickstarter exclusive version of the physical that you can only get through the Kickstarter. So make sure to grab that now while you can. They're also doing a plushie for one of the Poglings. It's a yellow plushie. That yellow color is exclusive to the Kickstarter as well. At a later time, we will have a different version on our webpage, along with a retro and plushies of other colors. But definitely give this a check out. It's awesome. And we finally gave a little update on Sunshine Anthology, which will be coming hopefully later this year. We'll see. And of course, we teased a Series 7 game, which is Anuchard from Freedom Games. This is a Zelda style game with the humor of Mother in the writing. It's just a lot of fun, great soundtrack, and look forward to that one coming later on in 2023.
Cool. Yeah, it's so fun to finally see, talk with you guys and everything about like what's coming out and everything, and to see that. And I think it's funny for me. I did not I didn't think I would like a game like Wife Quest, and then you guys talked about it and loved it, and you keep talking about it, and then Premium's doing it, and I see it in your direct, and then I was like, okay, I think I see what they're talking about now. it's finally got to me where I watched enough of it, and all you guys' thoughts and opinions and everything experienced there. I was like, okay, this does look charming. I get it. So that's cool that you guys are having that out. I think the biggest games that stood out to me, of course, was Super Dungeon Maker. Like you said, Barry, like it could be, this could be something really big for Switch, if it's embraced, and so hopefully it is. And the fact that it's just huge and like developed basically, it's an indie team, right? Like so,
Yeah,
like
it's like 2 people.
that's incredible that two people could just make this. Like that, it always blows my mind when any game that gets created, but especially when it's like a 2-person team, just like bang this out. That's awesome. But yeah, like so. But I think the biggest one that I'm interested in it is Poglings. I mean, the game, it looks great. Like you said, it also reminded me of games like Banjo Kazooie,
Yeah, kinda.
and Pokemon, or even like Skylanders, kind of like vibes to it as well. It looks really, really good. That cartoonish graphics, but like very, very crisp and just done really well. So yeah, hoping. I mean, clearly people want it if
It
it's already been 700% of the Kickstarter. But yeah, it looks really, really great. So that was probably the big standouts for me. Super Dungeon Maker and Poglings for sure. Greg, what do you think about all these announcements you guys made?
Well, it's definitely very excited to see that Wife Quest is coming to fruition. I mean, as Barry said, we've outlined this game like so thoroughly since its initial announcement, flat out getting codes for it and absolutely loving it, and then Barry was able to reach out and get them onto a contract and bring them on board. So it's finally that time has come for that great game to get its well-deserved physical edition, and really hope that people enjoy it as much as me and Barry did. It's got lots of great humor and got lots of it's really solid, fun gameplay. It's really quite a charmer there. That one is, to be honest. So be sure to check that one out. And then yeah, Super Dungeon Maker. Barry's been talking my ear off about it all the time. So it's really cool to see that one's will be also joining the lineup. And I have to pretty much try to get my own copy of it sooner or later here. So it's really can't wait to play it because it sounds so fantastic. But
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
Pog,
Do you
yeah,
guys know
Poglins, yeah,
is sorry, you can go
yeah.
ahead and continue. Yeah.
I was just saying, yeah, and then Poglings is also a lot of fun as well too. But yeah, like the huge highlights for me were definitely just seeing Wife Quest getting its physical edition, and also the Super Dungeon Maker is really fun as well.
Cool. Do you know if Bobby 67 are they going to do anything with a modern release, like digital or anything like that, or is it just NES and that's it?
I mean, is a possibility of it coming to Switch, but right now, it's just NES. And while it originated as like a ROM, you was using NES Maker, so you can actually find the ROM online. The developer not only makes more from this, but he actually updated the ROM and added brand new exclusive stuff that's only gonna be in our physical. He's not updating the ROM, at least not no plans to do so. So it's gonna be an exclusive version for the original NES.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I think that was I was surprised by that one. Like, also, I forgot about it, but as I was looking through my notes here, and I was like, oh yeah, I wrote down that it looks really, really fun, and so I never thought I'd be interested in buying an NES game in 2023, but it looked really fun, and I feel like it's the cool thing is now, like, using that hardware and using that software to build it and everything, we're seeing games that are pushing the NES hardware as much as it can be pushed, and realizing that, wow, you can make some really good looking games for the NES. I was blown away by how good that game looked. I think for it being running on NES hardware. So that's pretty cool. So, Barry, any final thoughts? What are you guys hoping for, or maybe teases to what's coming next? Anything that you want to share about Premium Edition before we move on?
Yeah, just like I said, go to premiumeditiongames.com where you could get Super Dungeon Maker right now, both the standard and the retro, as well as Wife Quest standard and retro go up for sale next Monday, the beginning of May. I think it's May 1st. And then 2 weeks after that, uh, you can get, it's May 15th, you could get Bobby 6-7 for the NES will be up. And we also have a mega pack where you can get all the titles in one go right now, just in case you don't want to wait. You could just go ahead and order all those. And again, Poglings, go to Kickstarter, you grab the exclusive. I think there's 20, maybe like 18 days left, I think, at this point. Now that I think about it, I think it's been like 11, 12 days. So I think it's like 18 days left. So if you want that Kickstarter exclusive, make sure to go get it now. If you don't and you just want to wait for the standards or our version, by all means, you'll be able to at premiumeditiongames.com as well.
Cool. And I know if you guys are, as Greg would probably say, like if you're a reseller or a game seller of stores and everything out there, if you would like to carry Premium Edition games, what do they do, Greg? Just contact Premium Edition.
Yeah, you can contact distribution at premiumeditiongames.com, and we'll help get these games onto your store shelves.
Cool. Well, excited for Premium Edition. Excited for you guys. It's been pretty cool to see this all go, and I love that, you know, like some big titles are coming Premium Edition's way, and that's pretty exciting. So yeah, if you end up getting any of these, let us know as well, and we may end up doing some. I know Jokester sometimes does some unboxing for us on our channel and stuff like that, so you might be able to check that out. So make sure you're paying attention to NintendoFuse on YouTube as well, if we end up doing any of that stuff. But I know that you guys over at Premium Edition also have a lot of stuff that you guys do, like showing off the games and doing unboxings and interviews with the developers and everything too. So make sure you check them out as well. Well, that's our end of our big discussion, but we just had a couple stories that come out over the last couple of weeks. Kind of a little bit of a lull in terms of the big news that's coming out. I think they're holding off probably till the beginning of the summer. Even with the lack of E3, I'm guessing there's still going to be some bigger announcements that are going to be coming out near the end of the spring and early summer. But there were two stories that we wanted to make sure that you guys knew about. And so Greg's going to kick us off with a little talk about Zelda.
Yep. So they recently had dropped like the final trailer for the Tears of the Kingdom, which, reminder, comes out on May 12th. So it's really coming up quick here. So if you haven't been living under a rock, you can check out the latest trailer and see some of Link's all new abilities, along even with finally the full reveal of Ganondorf, who will be making his grand reappearance in this game after not being really much a part of Breath of the Wild itself.
Yes, and if that wasn't enough, Nintendo announced a brand new spanking exclusive event. So this is Nintendo Live 2023. Unfortunately, this is not a direct. This is not E3. This is happening in Seattle, Washington this September. So they're talking about having games being available to be played, a live stage. People are expecting big things. Now they've had a couple of these in Japan, and nothing was announced during these. It was just simply to play games and socialize. So whether or not this is the same case, we don't know. It is what it is. I guess it's at now we'll take anything Nintendo throws our way.
Yeah, I've heard that I know Kit and Krista talk about the event in Japan, and they said it was a really just a fun event, just to have a lot of Nintendo focused stuff and everything. So yeah, I think that's exciting. I won't be heading up to Seattle myself to check it out, but if you're in that area and you're planning on going, sounds like a fun event. And yeah, love seeing more of Tears of the Kingdom. And again, just what I said earlier in the podcast, that I hope I have the time to play it when it comes out. That's my biggest fear at this point, because I think I'm going to enjoy it. I know I'm going to enjoy it. I just want to have time to play it. So yeah, Barry, any further thoughts about any of these stories?
I mean, I was sold on Zelda already. I didn't need to see the trailer, but I watched it just because I knew anything in it would be spoiled. So I might as well just see it, and I loved it. And I'm just even more excited for the game now, which is hard to do, but I'm really more excited. And as for Nintendo Live, what I've told other people is to temper your expectations about this event. Truth be told, there's most likely going to be nothing. But if you want to get your tinfoil hat on, it's happening in September. There's usually a September Direct. Are they going to do a live showing of a Direct at it? Are they going to come out and have Doug Bowser pull a Switch 2 out of his jacket pocket and have girls come down the aisle with Switch 2s, like handcuffed to them like they did with the 3DS to allow people to play? It could go crazy or it could be absolutely nothing. Truthfully, expect nothing. But I'm sure there will be people with the tinfoil hats on, ready for the world to come exploding or something. Who knows?
Yeah. Greg, what do you think about these two stories?
Yeah, definitely already been sold on Zelda. I definitely can't wait. I'm sure for Steve, it'll be like, I'll set aside 30 minutes, and then like over 2 hours later, he'll be still in Hyrule. So
Yeah.
it'll be
put whatever else needs to happen. We're just gonna put it off.
Yeah, I mean, I did take like a day off for Breath of the Wild back in 2017. I don't know if I'll be able to swing that this time around, but we'll have to see. But definitely can't wait. Very been super pumped ever since they even announced this game, because right as it stands, Breath of the Wild is my favorite Zelda game. So anything that's continuing on to it is sure going to be great. With the Nintendo Live thing, almost kind of sounds like it's like their Treehouse Live, like kind of more like at like their own event. So it's almost like they pulled it out of E3 and like, oh, you can come up to near our headquarters in Seattle and you could see all of our stuff here. So it's like it almost sounds like it's their own like mini E3 like live event where will be showing off like pretty much gameplay, but obviously it's not going to be like most likely not going to be anything that's like not released yet, but at least by the sound of it. But like Barry said, just keep your expectations tempered, and it's probably just going to be covering all the previous games that are already out, or maybe they just came out right before like the event starts. So it's not going to be dropping like, oh, here's Breath of the Wild's the trilogy. Like not going to be like the third game getting announced or something like that. So you don't need to be making up anything like that, anything crazy.
Yeah.
They're really announcing the fourth game.
Yeah, I've heard it's just it's just a lot of fun, I think, kind of environment that's like just Nintendo. And I think I wonder now if an event like that, I mean, they're gonna have the games and everything, but I wonder, like, can that hold up now that they have Super Nintendo World? It's a thing. Like, I mean, like if I want a Nintendo experience, I can play these games at home. I'm going to the amusement park and having, the overall big experience that I can have at Super Nintendo World, rather than going to an event where, yeah, there's going to be characters and everything. But for me at my age, I'm going to be caring about the games and the overall experience. But I think it's going to be probably a lot of fun for families. So especially with Mario Mania kind of kicking in again, and with the movie and all that stuff, I'm sure it's going to be a blast for young families and things like that. But yeah, I doubt they're going to show off anything we haven't seen before.
Speaking of Super Nintendo World, Nintendo actually just announced half an hour ago that their last call for their sweepstakes, you can win a trip for 4 to Universal Studios Hollywood. So check their Twitter now if you're interested in trying to win.
Well, I know what I'm doing after we get into recording. Greg, are you about to say something?
Steve, it's mine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna win.
Hey, there's 4 tickets. There's 3
go.
of us.
You could. Well, I don't think I'll be able to go with the baby, so you guys can split it.
There we go.
Nice.
Greg, your girlfriend, my wife, sounds like a date.
All right, here we go.
Nice. Well, before we move into just what's coming out over the next couple of weeks, we're just going to quickly remind you, if you've not liked and followed us and everything like that on whatever podcast platform that you use. Be sure to do that, especially if you want more of this kind of thing. Also, be sure to share it with other Nintendo gamers that you know that might enjoy this as well. If you've not followed us on Twitter, be sure to do that at NintendoFuse. And you can also join us over on our Discord. As I said earlier, those links are on the screen, but also in our show notes and the YouTube description as well. And we just love connecting with you guys in between the episodes as well as live. So if you've never joined us live, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time every other Monday, and we'd love interacting with you guys through the live chat. And just hello again to everybody who's joined us tonight in the live chat. But our next episode is going to be recorded on May 8th of this year, 2023. So until then, we've got some games that are going to be coming out. We're going to be scrolling those on the screen as we do like usual from the list over on Metacritic. And as we're scrolling through those, just a few games that maybe, we need to call attention to. Games like After Image is coming out on April 25th. Also, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Expansion Pass Wave 4 is coming out on April 25th. Picross S9 is coming out on April 27th. Omega Strikers comes out on April 27th. And Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster 35th Anniversary Edition comes out on May 1st. So, Barry, you're probably not going to be playing Xenoblade, I guess.
Yeah, I totally don't have something ready to go in and have already downloaded ready for midnight. Nothing at all. No. Of course, I alluded to it earlier. I can't wait for Xenoblade 3 Wave 4 expansion pass because that is a brand new game. Futures connected and all that. And can't wait. Absolutely can't wait. It looks phenomenal. So that is exactly my next thing I'm doing, and I am not going to stop until that is done. So I do think now it depends. If it's the size of Torna and it's a 20-hour RPG, I mean, it might take me a little longer. Who knows? But if I have time between then and um, Tears of the Kingdom, there's 3 games now I have to choose from where I'm going from there. Trinity Trigger, which is coming out this week, which looks like Secret of Mana, like almost like a spiritual successor to Secret of Mana. That comes out tomorrow. After Image, like you mentioned, I've talked with the developers. I got to know them. They're really good people, and the game looks phenomenal. I backed it on Kickstarter, and of course got the physical. So that one, and then of course it's not for the Switch, but Star Wars Jedi Survivor is coming out this Friday.
Man,
So
that snuck under the radar. How did I miss
yeah,
that?
that's this Friday. So it's like I enjoyed the first one that
Yeah.
they did, and I know it's canon now. And as a Star Wars nut, it's like, do I do it? Try and get that in before Tears of the Kids. After Tears of the Kingdom, Final Fantasy 16, and then after Final Fantasy 16, Trails to Reverie, and it's like bang, 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 all big games, and it's like, what do I do? So I don't know what I'm gonna do. But first, I can definitely say Xenoblade Chronicles 3 DLC for sure.
Nice. Do we have any idea how long that's going to be at all?
No, no, but I'm assuming it's substantial. Though there's no physical like they did Torna, but my guess is maybe Torna just didn't sell as well, and they said, "Let's just not worry about it. This is Nintendo we're talking about." And you did mention the Final Fantasy games. I thought they were out already digitally. It's
I
weird.
think this is a set of them or something like that.
Uh,
That's like maybe physical or something. I was
no,
confused when I saw that on the list as well.
the physical came out, and the physical is probably the biggest botch I've ever seen in gaming history.
Uh,
Like Saturn level bad.
is it all just
Uh,
digital code?
no, no, it's a fantastic physical that contains the games on cart. I think there's an update, but 99% of everything that you could play it right off the cart. That's not the problem. The problem is that Square Enix decided they pulled a Nintendo. They took a small property of theirs, Final Fantasy. No one's heard of it. No one will care. Decided to put the physical up for PS4 and Switch up at like 2 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday night, and they had it so limited that it sold out within minutes. And you would think, oh, we're going to put more copies in. This was back in December, but they never did. Not only have they never did, but they've took down the listings. There's an Asian English version on PlayAsia you could get for Switch. There was one for PlayStation 4 that was canceled. They had to refund everybody, and that's it. They're not printing more. It's literally like 1,000 copies, 2,000. I don't know. Like, I know the minimum's 5,000, so they probably printed 5,000 or Switch and 1,000 PS4, and they sold out. They're going for like $600+ on eBay because Square, I guess, doesn't seem like they want to print anymore. I don't know. It's ridiculous. I can't believe a big company like Square Enix would botch their flagship title.
Mm.
Even when Nintendo said Mario 3D All Stars is a limited thing, they printed as many as needed until March 31st, and they sold over 8 million. For Square to just be like, we're just going to print like 5,000 and that's it. It's like, do you hate money that much? Like,
That's
it
too
wasn't
bad.
cheap either. It was like an $80 physical. So it wasn't like they were losing money. They were making money. And they had a $250 collector's edition. And the people couldn't buy them. I'm like, why do you put it up at 2 o'clock in the morning Eastern,
Mm.
time, and that's it, and make it that limited with no
Mm.
announcement? By the way, they just dropped it like a ninja. Like, they didn't tell people it was going up. It just went up randomly.
Wow.
Terrible,
Yeah.
terrible big botch by
That
Square.
sounds like
People are
Nintendo for sure.
pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are pissed.
Yeah. It looks like this is the anniversary edition goods box specifically is what comes out on May 1st with the vinyl record set and
That's
all
what's
that
already
stuff.
out. That was
So,
from Square Enix
it's interesting.
site.
Well, sorry, Metacritic, you got it wrong. It's already out.
Yeah, and it was only available on Square Enix's site too. It wasn't
Okay.
retail.
Nice. Hey, Greg, what are you be playing over the next couple weeks?
Most likely hitting stuff off of the backlog, but definitely we'll probably be looking into the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster. I've kind of put that off and didn't realize it was already out, so that was a nice reminder that it's already there for me to check it out if I so choose. And then definitely a Super Dungeon Maker is also another thing that I saw that will be releasing before the next podcast as well. So
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't get one of the test codes there, so I might look into picking up a digital copy of that while I wait on the physical edition.
Nice. Yeah, I somehow I missed that. I swear I'm just going to say that wasn't on the list the other day when I made my list of notable games. I think they just didn't have it on there. That's the problem. But definitely want to check out that game for sure. Yeah, I think I'm going to be playing more Shadows of Loathing for sure. And yeah, it really got sucked into that game more than I expected to. So I'll be playing that. I'm actually taking off for Atlanta tomorrow night, and I will probably not be playing any games on the way there because I have a red eye, and I really need to be awake on Wednesday, and so I'm not going to be probably playing any games unless I get really just wired for some reason and can't sleep. But while I'm traveling, like throughout the week and on the way back and everything, I'll probably be playing some Shadows of Loathing. And yeah, I've got several others that I have downloaded. I think I mentioned those on the last episode as well. That games that we've got sent review codes or whatever from different publishers, different trials and stuff like that I've downloaded over the last several months and just haven't gotten to. So I think I'm just going to be dabbling a lot over the next couple weeks. But yeah, eventually when I do need to finish Life is Strange 2 at some point before Tears of the Kingdom comes out, because when that happens, that's all I'll be playing. So like when I find time, Rocket League will probably set to the side, and we'll just be playing Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, same. This is going to be one of those games that really pushes everything out of the way, and just that Tears of the Kingdom will be priority focus number one. Doesn't matter what else is out, what has previously come out, what I really want to play. It's going to be like, that's what I'm playing.
Yep. And that's May 12th. Is that right? So
yep,
May 12th.
Be just a few days after our next episode on May 8th. So that kind of be our last hurrah, if you will. Yeah. So we, in our breathing, we'll still be playing. I mean, maybe Barry will be coming up for air from Xenoblade, and then
I hope to have it
diving right
finished by
back
then.
in. Nice. Well, other than all the cool stuff happened over at Premium, anything else kind of cool going on in you guys' life? Anything big, Barry? I mean, you get a baby
Yeah,
on
I've
the
been
way.
Yeah,
So.
I have a baby on the way and puppies I'm raising. But no, I've been on a bunch of podcasts lately. So shout out to a bunch of them. So check those out. I've been on Nintendo Dads, our good friends over there, Nintendo Pals, and Pure Nintendo, and Gamerheads, and Barely Gaming Podcast, and there's so many great the Game Deflators, like so many wonderful people that I've met over the years. So it was great to hang out with them. So definitely check them out. You could find all the links to those on my Twitter, and have some more coming up too. So looking forward to hanging out with more friends and chatting video games.
Cool. I know, I know Nintendo dads are excited about the Super Dungeon Maker, and now you are a Nintendo dad, so
Yeah.
you know, and another Nintendo dad is Greg. So
Yep.
we want to steal Nintendo dads. Please don't sue us for that. But Greg, anything going on in your life for the next couple weeks?
Yeah, I really should be recruited for Nintendo Dads. I feel like it'd be a good addition
I'm gonna
over
feel
there
left
too.
out here.
Gotta get working. Come on, Steve. Do we need to have the talk with you?
Oh boy. So as you were saying, Greg.
Nothing terribly huge. I did see that there's a new a juice bar that's near my house that has some open time with arcade machines, and I was planning to hopefully check that out over the next before the next podcast. I think that'd be really cool as either a date or just checking it out myself, because it's really easy just to get lost just playing some old retro games, and they're all on free play. So
Oh, that's cool.
Hopefully would be a really fun time. And yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot else going on. It's been kind of a somewhat slower time in the personal life stuff as things are settling in and whatnot. So daughter's school will be ending at early June, so that's also coming to a close there, and getting all the summer plans all sorted out, and summer camps and all that kind of fun stuff.
Nice. Well, speaking of babies, Jake's just got a birthday. I guess that was a small kind of connection. I don't know. It was better in my head. It was a lot better in my head. But anyhow,
I'm sorry,
happy birthday, Jakester. He's in our chat room. He's going to be playing Lego DC Villains, Ratchet and Clank 1, and continuing Pikmin 2, and finally starting his third run of Digimon Survive, he says. So make sure you wish Jakester happy birthday, whether it be in our chat room comments or in our Discord as well. Jakester's been playing some games. I got another game that he's going to be putting up on our YouTube channel pretty soon as well. As soon as we get a working code. They gave us one that was already claimed, so we're working on getting another one. So we'll tease. We'll say a preview video of a game is coming out soon. It should be pretty good. But yeah, make sure you stay tuned, and make sure you subscribe and share and all that stuff. But yeah, it brings us to a close of episode 270. It's been great to talk video games with you guys. Who knows what's going to be coming out over the next couple weeks, if we're going to have any big news over the next couple weeks, or if it's just going to be a lot of anticipation for Tears of the Kingdom. We know that's definitely going to happen, and we're going to get a good review of Xenoblade from Barry next episode.
Yeah.
But
hey, and Advance Wars finally came out too.
Oh, that's true.
It came out this Friday.
About time. Nice.
I was just about to say, they're gonna shadow drop the Tears of the Kingdom direct. Here's all the information on the game, 50 fact extravaganza.
No, we don't need anything else. That's enough.
I don't want to have to watch that, but
yeah,
Smash was a different beast.
We'll just include that as a headline in the next episode. And we're like, and Nintendo talked about Tears of the Kingdom, and moving on.
What's new in sports, Barry?
Yeah, we switch sports. No. All right. Well, that brings us, like I said, to the end of episode 270. We'll be back here on May 8th. We're time traveling backwards. Man, it was a good run without doing that. It's
And
it's
very
been a
sad it's good
really good
when
run.
it's done best, and this is clearly one of
Almost a
those
full 2
situations where it's
episodes
best.
without messing up dates, and here we are. Almost. But May 8th, 2023 is when we're going to be back with our next episode. We'd love to have you join us live, especially if you've never jumped in before. We'd love to have you there. But until then, happy gaming, everybody.
Have a good one.
See you next time.